Welcome back to another video then, and this is just a very quick intro to say that this is the build part of the TuneRC 3-inch toothpick. We're also going to have a review and we're also going to have a setup part as well. So if you're not looking for a build, then this is not the video for you, but all of the related videos will be linked together on a playlist, but they'll also be linked down below as well. Let's get into the build then. TuneRC toothpick. This is like a new version that they decided to send us. So I said, yes, why not? So we've got a few things here that we got from them, and we're just going to go through the packaging details first of all, before we then move on and put it all together. So you'll know that a few months ago, probably at the start of the year, we had the TuneRC toothpick originally on the channel, and I was a real fan of it. This is going to be a slightly different build, however, because that was a 3.5 inch with slightly smaller motors. This has got slightly bigger motors, but it's going to be a 3-inch, and TuneRC say that it increases the efficiency, makes things a little bit better, while still retaining those same great flight characteristics. So I, for one, am incredibly excited to give this a try and see just how well it flies. So without further ado, let's start, really, because if we don't, we'll never get anything done. So we're going to move these out of the way. This is our ELRS. We've got some screws over here. These are our motors. Now I do love on the side of this box, it actually has, although I've just completely ruined it when I've opened it, it actually says support TuneRC Hobby or TuneRC.com. That's brilliant. There are so many companies these days that don't want to give out their emails, that don't want to offer support, that basically want to sell you something and then just vanish. TuneRC don't seem to be like that, and that really does impress us here, because as we always say, what we are is pilots first and YouTubers second. And I say, I'm using the plural now because Boy Wonder is heavily involved. I can't get rid of the kid. So there's been a company that I've panned recently because of their poor customer service. So to actually have their email, their support email on the packaging, I think is just brilliant. And the type of company that I want to throw my weight behind, to be completely honest with you. What I do also need to do is probably find a guide of how to build this. I mean, it looks fairly straightforward. We're going to try and do this as chill as we can. What we'll probably do is we'll split the build and the review into two separate videos. I think is probably going to be the most sensible way of doing this. But it looks really simple to put together. It looks almost too simple to put together, which is always a worry. I'm sure with TuneRC it's not though. If you was to buy the whole kit from TuneRC with the motors, the flight controller, the ELRS and the frame, it's just $112 and the 3D print, sorry. $112, which is about 100, maybe 95 quid in the UK. Real bargain. Now, I don't know if it's going to come in at under 100 grams. I suspect it probably won't, but it's still going to be super light. So, first thing we're going to do then is we're going to get one of these. And we are going to face it this way, and we're going to face this way. And what they say is the shorter screw goes here, the longer screw goes here. So let's open up the screws. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do in putting this together is we are going to follow the instructions. Now what it says first of all is we're going to want this to go like this, and then we want a small screw, and I'll highlight this a little bit better in a second. But we want a small screw through there and through there, and then we want a big screw through here and through here. So we put the arm in this position, the small screw goes through there and the large screw goes through there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to grab the top plate and we are going to place the top plate on top. Genius me. And again, it goes like this. So that goes to the side like that, and this is going to go on here like this, and that's going to go on there like that. Really simple. And here we're going to put a standoff on it. So your standoffs are in this pack here. We're going to grab one of our standoffs and we're going to put our standoff on here. And at the minute we're just going to sort of do it finger tight. We don't want to go too much with it. And then we're going to go with, it's actually these nuts that go on here from the other pack. So once we've done that and we've got everything together, I'm sorry if that sound has moved up a little bit. I'm just trying to get the sound to be as sound as possible. I've got headphones in to try and help with the sound gremlins that we keep having, just to get it right, so bear with me. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn it around. Well, we're not going to turn it around, but we're going to get another one of these arms now, and we're going to place the arm this way, and we're going to put it in to here like this, so it pushes against the other arm, like that. Once we've done that, we're going to do the same thing, so we're going to get one of these small screws from this pack here, and that's going to go into here. So let's just do that. So once we've done that and that's all done, we can now grab again. Oh no, this is going to be different. Okay, so this is going to be, and these are both going to be M2 nuts. Well, we'll follow the instructions and we can't go wrong, can we? Okay, so again, we're going to keep it in this position and we're going to move on to the next one, which again is going to go in the same way like this. And we're going to go with a short one and a long one. And what I'd advise here, just so that you don't, because obviously it's going to get tighter now, what I'd advise is just give yourself a little bit of room to manoeuvre and pop this next one in. Let's make sure that's the right way. Okay, so we've just given ourselves a little bit of space there. And what we're going to do now is, so we need a long one here. And obviously as you've got it all together, it's going to be tighter, which is what you want. Now, interestingly, so we've got the nut there. We're then going with a standoff here, and then we just need one last screw in here, or bolt, depending where you are from in the world as to what you call them. Okay, let's double check and triple check everything now. So, if we look at it from this angle, we should have a standoff here, a standoff here, and a standoff here. We should have a nut here, a nut here, and a nut here. So, let's grab some nuts. Grasp them firmly in your hand. I've dropped my nuts. Try that again. Okay, grasp the nuts firmly in your hand and just twist them until the pressure becomes too much. Until the pressure becomes... No, stop it. Stop it. I shouldn't be like that in public. Right. Okay. Right. Now what? Now we need to grab hold of our flight controller, which is... So this is where your flight controller is. Pop up in this box, it's got a bit of sellotape on it. Now it is of course a flight controller and ELRS all in one. And that is the flight controller. That looks lovely and easy to work on, I'm not going to lie. That looks really nice to work on. And you've got your peripherals in here. Now, I don't always add a capacitor if I'm running 4S and digital. But what I might do after I've done the initial flights with the 04, I might actually change it to something else. So I'm probably going to add the capacitor on this time. So the first job you are going to want to do is to add, let's just move this out of the way slightly. First thing you're going to want to do is add your gummies in, and I think we're going to be using these black ones by the looks of the instructions. I will link the webpage down below where the instructions are and where you can buy one of these. It won't be an affiliate, I don't believe. And that is fine by us. Because, say it with me now, we're pilots first and we're YouTubers second. Okay, so let's see where this should go now. So, if we've got the three standoffs in that position, it should now go here like this. Ideally, we want to follow the build instructions to the letter because it's going to be relatively tight in here. Okay, we've done that. So the next job really is to build the canopy for the 04. So let me grab an 04. And then you're going to want these bits and the remainder of your screws and things. Take it out of this 03 head for the... Yep, right. So with it in that position like that, the longer part goes to the front, the shorter part goes to the back like that. the next thing, actually, this connects directly into the frame, and then you screw those into there, but you can't screw that in yet. So actually we can't do this next part until we've wired everything up in the flight controller. So again, we'll just move all these little bits over to one side over here. So the next job then is to grab our motors and get our motors installed. Now there are screws in these motor packs, but TuneRC have actually included a pack of screws that specifically say they're for the motors. So we're going to go with them because they may be a better length and it's better than messing around. This pack here specifically says 16 times M25 cuphead hexagonals. Please use these to install the VCI 1204 5600 motors. And for anybody wondering what the motors are, they're 1204s 5600. Sorry. Let's move on. Obviously, we're taking it a little bit slower so you guys can follow along, and I'm getting the stuff out as I need it so that you guys can follow along. But we'll try and put some chapter markers in just to make it a bit easier if there's bits that you don't need, and the bits where I'm just screwing stuff in will speed up. Okay, so now all that's done, I'm just going to tighten up the rest of these, because if you remember I said we'll just do them finger tight. Okay, so that's that done. So now what we need to do is take these off. So we're actually still a little bit long there. I'll take a little bit of extra length because if we fold it under and stuff, it might, yeah. Okay, and I'm just going to turn the soldering iron on and grab our TBS solder. The best solder, in my opinion, is these TBS stuff. So pre-tin your wires. And then pre-tin the pads. And then it's just a case of soldering the wires onto the pads. And that's our first motor soldered in. Now the wire is a little bit too long, so let's just, I'm just concerned, not concerned, but I'm just curious about this canopy, so I think that's probably going to be okay. Even though it's a little bit longer than I want, I think we'll probably be okay like that. Just because I don't quite know where this canopy is going to sit or how it's going to sit. Okay, that's one motor done. I'll probably speed the rest of this up now. Okay, so we're back after we've soldered those motors in, and we've got a cable for our 04 Pro, and we've got our ELRS receiver, and we're going to deal with those next. Just have a quick tidy up of this desk. Just make things a little bit neater for everybody. So first of all, we've got the 04 Pro cable here. Now, it is 7.4 volts, and I can't see on here unless I'm being blind, which is entirely possible, a 9-volt pad. So what we're going to do is we're going to wire it up to the VBAT because it's only 3S, so we'll be fine with that. For anybody that isn't aware, you've got your VCC, then you've got obviously your ground. The next cable is then your RX, which goes to a TX, and then your TX. No. Yeah, your RX is the white one, which goes to a TX, and your grey one is your TX, which goes to an RX. So that's what we'll do. Now we've pre-tinned these, so it should just be a case now of just a dab of heat on here. Okay, so that is our 04 cable wired in, and the front of the drone goes this way, so that's going to be fine. And now it's just a case of doing our ELRS. We need to solder up the receiver. I've also got a cover there as well. So we'll start with the pads. Now what you could do with these, by the way, if you want to make it a bit easier for yourself, is you can actually just pop the wire into the hole. Just pop that down a second. So you can actually just pop the wire into the hole like this, and then you can sort of backfill the hole. If you find soldering a little bit tricky, this can sometimes be, personally, wouldn't necessarily do it this way, but you can sort of just backfill that hole, look, and that's your receiver wire in. But I'm going to take that out because that's our ground wire. Now it doesn't matter, a wire is a wire, however what I don't want to do is confuse me really in the future. We're going to grab our heat shrink and we're going to put our heat shrink over our antenna like this and over our wires, and then we're going to set fire to it. Okay, obviously try not to keep the heat on for too long. And that's that done. So the next job now is to find out where we're going to solder this onto, and once we've done that we can then solder it onto it. So we've got a UART here, UART 1, and we've got a 5 volt and a ground over there, mainly because I didn't like that pad there. I think I might have just kept the heat on a little bit too long. So let's first of all do our UARTs. So that's our UARTs done. Now then, what do we solder to the R? That's the white one. So the white one needs to go to the T, which is the bottom, so we'll do the blue first, which is the R pad. Again, these wires, these pre-tinned wires, I mean actually, do we want to... And that should be the last time now that we turn the soldering iron off, as long as everything is okay. So, grab yourself a smoke stopper. Don't grab yourself, that's a different video. Grab yourself a smoke stopper. Grab yourself a battery. I've just noticed actually this is 3S and I've been plugging 4S's into it. Oops, better not do that. But it just goes to show how good the TuneRC stuff is. We've got a 3S. And we're going to want to grab our smoke stopper just to make sure that we haven't made any mistakes first of all. So everything is lighting up. Now what we need to do is just grab the 04 and plug the 04 in and make sure that that lights up. Could have done that at the same time, but it's not a problem to do it at the same time. Okay, so there we go. We've got the two different tones from the flight controller, which means the ESC and the flight controller is working in unison. The 04 is lit up there and the ELRS is lit up there. So what we'll do now is we'll just put it back together. We'll just finish the last bits of putting it together, and then what we'll do is we'll go over to BetaFPV, we'll get it all set up. The 04 Pro is already activated and updated. There is going to be a video in the top right hand corner or in the description of how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, we've got a video to have you covered. I'll show you how to bind it because it's a really easy process, but yeah, let's freaking go. So now we've got the canopy on, we just need to stick on our battery strap, and this has been a very straightforward, simple build. And this probably should have, or would have been easier if we'd have put this through at the start. But we don't do that, do we? We don't do easy here. Okay, so that's the build all done. What we'll do now is we'll finish this video, and you can either go to the review, or if you come from the review and you want the setup, there's a setup. There's loads of options. Just pick whatever suits you. Peace. YouTube and I have had a chat, and we believe that this is the video that you'll like the most. So watch it and let me know if they're right.